You guys, this is so exciting. Welcome to my very first YouTube video of 2025. I kind of thought that for my very first video, it would only be fitting to maybe go through some book abbreviations, book terms, common book terms, like a book 101 crash course of what you might hear if you're just getting into the book community. You might see people talk about these things and not know what they mean, or if you want to send this to your husband or boyfriend because you're always yapping on about books and they don't have a clue what you're talking about, make them watch this and then they will know. So let's jump right in. Okay, the first term I have is book boyfriend or book girlfriend. This is like a fictional boy or a fictional girl character that you basically become obsessed with when you're reading a book. They're a character that you only just wish could be maybe your real life partner, somebody that you might spend a lot of time daydreaming about or fantasizing about. Number 2 is book hangover. So if you ever hear somebody say they're going through a book hangover, this is when a book leaves them emotionally drained. And oftentimes, if this happens, you're not able to automatically jump into reading another book. You need to take time to process what the heck you just read. The third one is a reading slump. Oftentimes a book hangover can lead to a reading slump. And this is when you find yourself particularly uninspired on what you should read next. It could happen after reading a string of underwhelming books, but you find yourself just in a slump. You're not really reading, you don't really know what to read next. So often people will look for recommendations to get them out of a book slump. Number 4 is mood reader. This is me. So a mood reader is somebody who will pick up a book or read just whatever it is that they are feeling in that moment. They will read something based off their current mood. They will walk up to their TBR shelf and be like, I just feel like maybe checking out this one today. Whereas in contrast, some people have what they're going to read very planned out according to maybe a challenge, or maybe they just have some sort of list of books that they need to read, need to get to. I myself am a mood reader. TBR stands for to be read. So these are books that people plan to read. So you might have a TBR cart. This is mine over here on the side. Behind me, I put books on this shelf. These are books that I've already read, and then this is my TBR cart, so I have to read these books. I plan to read these books. When you hear somebody wants to add a book to their TBR, that is a book that they are intending to read. Number 6, DNF, which stands for did not finish. So this is where you might start reading a book and then due to maybe lack of interest or whatever the circumstance is, you did not finish. MC, FMC, and MMC are very common abbreviations that you will see within the book community. So MC stands for main character. FMC is female main character. And then MMC is male main character. Number 8, morally gray. This refers to a character who kind of straddles the line between being likable and unlikable, or maybe villainous or heroic. Some readers might be able to pick up on some positives that they are seeing woven deep within a character that make a what might seem unlikable character be kind of likable. Number 9 is cinnamon roll. If you ever hear this term, it is referring to a character who is really sweet, very likable. And lastly, we're going to talk about tropes, book tropes. Often you will hear the term tropes, what are your favorite tropes, etc. So I'm going to just go over some common book tropes. When you hear the term trope or book trope, it is referring to a common plot device, character type, or theme that appears regularly within a book or a story. So I will go over some common book tropes that you might come across or hear. And the first one being enemies to lovers. So this is when two characters in a book maybe initially start out hating each other for whatever the reason, or they start out as enemies, and then after spending often a lot of time together, they end up liking each other or falling in love. Sometimes enemies to lovers kind of goes into the stuck together trope, which is where they end up stuck together in some way and then eventually end up falling in love or really liking each other. Forbidden love is another common book trope, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's where two characters are not allowed to be together. They're not meant to be together in some way. Their love is forbidden, but the characters will have desires to each other. They like each other, but it is forbidden. Another common one is forced proximity. So this is where characters spend a lot of time together in a forced proximity, kind of that like stuck together trope again. Often they will be forced together against their will. The last common one I have for you is touch her and die, which is personally one of my favorites, but it is where you will have a character who is extremely protective over another, and they have that you touch her and you will die attitude. So this was kind of a quicker, shorter book 101 crash course on some common book terms or abbreviations that you might come across. Comment down below if you liked this idea, or if you think I missed any that you want me to maybe expand on, or if you've heard some and you're not sure what they mean. And I will do a part 2 on more bookish terms. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. This was a shorter one, but it's just kind of like my first trial run of a YouTube video. Share this with your significant others, with your friends who need a little brush up on their bookish vocabulary because they don't know what you're talking about when you yap to them about books. And lastly, I hope to see you in my next video.